Almighty God, ruler of heaven and earth, we seek thee to inspire and guide all our counsels and actions so that we may always walk in the path of justice, love, and charity to one another. Help us with thy grace to do only those things that will promote the unity, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria. Amen. Distinguished senators, my distinguished colleague, please examine the rules and proceedings of Tuesday, the 26th day of November 2024, and confirm that the entries are true reflection of what transpired yesterday. Page 143, sorry. I don't even have the I don't have it here. Page 577, page 578, page 579, page 580, page 581, page 582, page 583, page 584, page 585. Senator Aliu magata takardar wa mako sakin yamma Sokoto.
Mr. President, my dear colleagues, Aliyu M. Wamakwa, my names, I stand to propose that the board of president of Tuesday, 6 November 2024 be approved. I so move. Thank you, Mr. President.
Ipalibo Banigo Harry. You may second the motion moved by Sekin Yamma Sokoto.
The President, the Senate, distinguished colleagues, Ipalibo Harry Banigo, representing the good people of Rivers West Senatorial District. I stand to second the motion for the adoption of the proceedings, votes and proceedings as recorded on Tuesday, 26 November 2024.
Those in favor of the motion moved by His Excellency, the former governor of Sokoto State, Senator Aliyu Magatakada Sokoto, Magatakada Wamako, the second Yama of Sokoto, and seconded by Her Excellency, the former Deputy Governor of Rivers State, distinguished Ipalibo Banigo Harry, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The votes and proceeding of yesterday is hereby adopted. Announcement. Committee on Nigerian Army of the Senate of the National Assembly. The President of Senate, Chairman National Assembly, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, sir, notice of screening. This is to inform distinguished senators of the Senate of the. This is to inform distinguished members of the Senate Committee on Army that the screening process for the confirmation of the Acting Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Olatubosun Oluyede, will take place today, being Wednesday, the 27th day of November 2024 at room 211, Senate New Building by 2 p.m. Yours sincerely, Senator Abdulaziz Musa Eradua, Chairman, Senate Committee on Army. Birthday announcement. Distinguished colleagues, the following distinguished senators are celebrating their birthdays today, the 27th day of November 2024. 1. Senator Isa Shaib Law. 2. Senator Adebule Idiat Oluranti. On behalf of the Senate, I wish the distinguished senators happy birthday, long life, prosperity, and many more years of service to our fatherland. Signed, President of the Senate, Federal Republic of Nigeria, 27 November 2024. The Senate leader. Any petition? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Senator Binos Dr. Yaro.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Binos Yaro. I represent Adama South. Mr. President, I have a petition from two of my constituents who are orphans, who inherited a land their late father bought way back in 2012. In their attempts to take possession of the land, the natives prevented them until they reached an agreement to compensate them for the economic trees. After they did that and mobilized to move to sites and develop the land, a contingent of military personnel from the Army Estate Management went there fully armed and prevented them from taking possession of the land. Every effort to resolve the matter proved futile.
Is the matter in court?
It is not in court, Your Excellency.
You may wish to submit your petition. The petition is referred to the Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions to report back in 2 weeks. Any other petition? You may read your petition.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I remain Senator Engineer Kenneth Eze, representing the people of Ebonyi Central Senatorial Zone. Mr. President, this petition is a very pathetic one. No litigation yet. That is about one of my constituents that gained admission to study in Russia. He fulfilled all the requirements, was granted a visa to travel, and he paid all the tuition fees, only for him to be turned back at the point of entry without any reason or any information. He was just turned back to his country. So he has asked Senate to intervene in this matter.
Any legal encumbrance, any legal action, has any legal action been taken over the matter?
None.
You may wish to place your petition on the table.
Thank you, Mr.
The petition is hereby referred to the Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions to report back within 2 weeks. Any other petition? No petition. The leader of the Senate will proceed.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the first business of the day is the presentation of a House bill standing in my name on the Federal Universities of Agriculture Act Amendment Bill 2024, HB 234. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The Clerk of the Senate. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Universities of Agriculture Act Amendment Bill 2024, HB 234, first reading.
Federal Universities of Agriculture Act Amendment Bill, HB Bill 2024, HB 105, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the second business of the day is also the presentation of a House bill standing in my name on the Federal College of Health Technology, Beni Sheikh, Borno State, Establishment Bill 2024, HB 234. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, first reading.
Federal College of Health Technology, Beni Sheikh, Borno State Establishment Bill 2024, HB 234, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished senators Sani Musa on the National Land Drainage Bill 2024 SB 435. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Land Drainage Bill 2024, HB 435, first reading.
National Land Drainage Bill 2024, SB 435, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Banigo Ekwalibo Harry on the National Information Technology Development Agency NIDA Act Amendment Bill 2024 SB 517. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 517, first reading.
National Information Technology Development Agency NIDA Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 517, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Yaro Binos Dauda on the Local Government Allocations Management Bill 2024 SB 636. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President,
Senator Wadada, Senator Zangondora, take your seat.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Local Government Allocations Management Bill 2024 SB 636, first reading.
Local Government Allocations Management Bill 2024 SB 636, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators, the sixth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Abbas Aminu Iya on the National Agency for Technology Management Establishment Bill 2024 SB 658. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Agency for Technology Management Establishment Bill 2024 SB 658, first reading.
National Agency for Technology Management Establishment Bill 2024 SB 658, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators, the first order of the day is the second reading of the Federal College of Skills Acquisition and Technology, Agolo, Anambra State Establishment Bill 2024 SB 493. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Thursday, 4th of July 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Ume Victor to move the motion for the bill to be read a second time.
Senator Peter Ume, the floor is yielded to you to move the motion that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume, OFR. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to move the motion that this very important bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Skills Acquisition and Technology, AGOLO, in Anambra State, SB 493, be moved.
You may wish to proceed. You don't need a seconder.
Thank you, Mr. President. My brother is already itching to second the motion. Senator Moye. Mr. President, my highly respected colleagues, I hereby present the lead debate on this very important bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Skills Acquisition and Technology, AGOLO, Anambra State, SB 493. Mr. President, my highly respected, distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on this very important bill. The bill seeks to establish the Federal College of Skills Acquisition and Technology, AGOLO, Anambra State. The bill was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Wednesday, 3rd of July, 2024. Distinguished senators will agree with me that the acquisition of technical and technological skills is a major requirement for the advancement and development of any nation. Therefore, establishment of platforms for acquisition of requisite skills through technical and technological education is in itself a source of youth empowerment, which invariably is a sure way of curtailing unemployment in the country. It is instructive to note that Nigeria today ranks among nations with very high level of youth unemployment. We have millions of youths idling away without any visible means of livelihood. And this has significantly contributed to the high level of insecurity in the country, as there is a saying that an idle mind is a devil's workshop. However, these idle youths can be salvaged and empowered through acquisition of technical skills that will provide employment opportunities for them, especially in the construction industry, as well as enable them to be self-employed. It is for these reasons that this bill has been conceived to provide trainings in sundry services, such as bricklaying, electrical installations, plastering, roofing, plumbing, painting, cooling systems, refrigeration, carpentry, steel fabrications, welding, sealing POPs, iron bending and fitting, and so on and so forth. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, it is not in doubt that people with these skills are the backbone of the construction industry in any given nation. For example, in America and other developed countries of the world, great emphasis is placed on skills acquisition among the youth, particularly those not in pursuit of university degrees or diplomas in tertiary institutions. They are known as handymen that render essential services in diverse areas and are properly certified and registered. Distinguished colleagues, on this note, I humbly request my distinguished colleagues to support the expeditious passage of this bill because of its far-reaching relevance to the socio-economic development of this country. In Nigeria today, most of these handymen are employed from Benin Republic, Cotonou, and the rest of it. They are the people rendering these services, which we can get our youths to acquire the skills and begin to offer these services in the construction industry and in our various homes. I so move. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Tony Moye.
Thank you, my dear President, for this rare privilege. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Dr. Tony Moye, representing Anambra North. I want to second this motion and also lend my voice briefly to this bill to be read the second time, as moved and espoused by my dear, very distinguished senior colleague, Senator Victor May, for a bill for an act to establish Federal College of Skill Acquisition and Technology, Agolo, Anambra State, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and for other related matters. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, in as much that unemployment rate decreased from 5.6% to 5.3% in second quarter, which is commendable. But at the same time, youth unemployment stands at 6.50% nationwide. But we must say that despite this decrease in unemployment rate in this quarter, that there is a very need for this bill to be read second time so that this school acquisition center can be established in Agolo and Nocha local government in Anambra State, so as to create more opportunities for our youths to be educated in science, technology, and mathematics, especially on skill acquisition. There's a need for this institution to be established so that some people can be gainfully employed, so as to reduce insecurity, reduce unemployment, and other things that are plaguing our youths. So I'm lending my voice that we are appealing to our distinguished colleagues to support for this bill to be read second time. I so second. Thank you.
Senator Adams of Shomole, then Senator Francis Ezenwa will follow.
Mr. President, sir,
my distinguished colleague, I listened very attentively to the argument of Senator Ume, now supported by my distinguished comrade.
But let me remind you, sir, that for now, we are taking contribution from those in support of the bill. Thereafter, we now go those against the bill. So I don't.
Yes, sir.
Are you
I'm
for?
supporting.
Are you for? If you are not for,
I am for.
okay.
You know, you have taught us, sir, that once we are in the Senate, it is one house. There is no PDP, there is no APGA, there is no APC, just the Senate. And the first two speakers are from PDP. And they don't have the numbers to get the motion through. So they need to have a handshake across the aisle. I believe that this is, for me, the kind of institutions we should be encouraging, not even universities of technology. Because, Mr. President, sir, it will shock you when you interact with major contractors like, I will mention their name freely here, first-class civil engineering contractors. You will find that they need electricians. They put sign at their site, they can't find. They need plumbers, you can't find. Just those basic skills. If I'm not going to take your time, but it's worth reminding you that I traveled with President Jonathan to somewhere in Southern Africa. I believe it's this small country. But my embarrassment was that the Nigerian ambassador there was pleading with the country's president that they want to train, they should admit Nigerians to learn bricklaying, plumbing, those basic stuff. And I felt so belittled because the president then reminded us that he was a product of Nigeria Police College Ikeja. And now we are asking him to provide Nigerians opportunity to be taught about plumbing, bricklaying, POP, etc., etc. Sir, to deal with the crisis of unemployment in Nigeria will be solved by the kind of bill that he has proposed. Because we face today not just the fact of so many people not being employed. The real shame, Mr. President, is that a lot of these young people are not employable. And that compounds the problem. With skills such as the one that will be taught in the institutions that Senator Ume proposing should be located somewhere in Anambra, which is not too far, to several other cities that are used to jobs like this. I think this Senate will be doing Nigerians, not Anambra people, a word of good by shifting emphasis to skill acquisition. And as he lists them out, bricklaying, iron bending, those basic things that the Ministry of Labor used to do when I was in Kaduna.
Your Excellency, you have one second remaining.
So I support, it has been seconded already. I support that this bill should go through second reading. It is timely, it is consistent with our determination to have youths that are not just product of universities, that have no skills except they get a job in the public sector. This one will drive the economy at local level at various parts of the country. So, Mr. President, sir, I rise to support that this bill should go through second reading. Thank you, sir.
Minority Leader, please allow Francis to have the floor, then you, please. Sorry, Senator Francis Ezenwa.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Ezenwa Onyewuchi, and I represent Imo East Senatorial District. Mr. President, I consider this bill a very important one. I have an inclination towards skill acquisition and specialized institutions. The bill being proposed is about a specialized institution, and I believe that that is the trend. Globally, that is the way the whole world is going. But what makes this bill very interesting is the Nigerian situation. In Nigeria today, we have a shortage of qualified artisans. Mr. President, if you go to your community and you have something to do, to get artisans who will do it for you is an odious task. So an institution like this that will train and prepare them for the task ahead cannot be ignored. And I also believe that it will at the same time address the issue of unemployment amongst our youths. And the timing will be right, because once they are coming out from primary school, they can get into some of these institutions that will mold and train them, instead of allowing them to roam the streets, pick up the wrong values, and when it is late, we now begin to try to train them or give them the requisite skills. At that point, they become untrainable, unemployable. So that is why I support wholeheartedly this bill for this specialized institution. And I urge my colleagues to please do so. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Senator Adam Oshomole, why I was drawing your attention that it was a time for those in support of the bill to make their contribution, because I know you're an advocate, you support fully the implementation of Orange Sanya report, and you've been somehow a lone voice in this Senate that always go against the establishment of institutions, new institutions. So that's why I was thinking that we're going to go against the bill, but it's an exception. So you are lucky that I didn't go against your bill. Thank you. So, Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I rise to lend my voice in support of this bill to be read a second time. Mr. President, this bill is germane. This bill is apt, and this bill speaks for the times. Mr. President, one of the major problems that we have in Nigeria today is a problem of examination malpractices. And tell me why. Because the Nigerian system has emphasized so much on certificates that Nigerians will go to any length to acquire the certificates. Whether they acquire the knowledge or not is immaterial to them. And so I think that this bill, if executed, will cure that malice. Secondly, Mr. President, the most successful human beings in terms of business and wealth today are the Igbos of Southeast. And the reason is very simple. They believe very much in apprenticeship, in learning by doing. And so they are very successful whenever they come out of it. And today we are trying to examine a situation where we can create a platform for Nigerian youths to acquire skills. Because in America, for instance, the artisan, the engineer, is more highly regarded than the ordinary persons you find in government houses and the rest of them. And so they don't have reason to even go to a government job. They will even refuse government job if you offer them one, because they have the knowledge and the expertise to live their lives. And so this is one area of creating that avenue for Nigerians to learn to acquire knowledge, to be useful, and engage in productive activities of their own. Mr. President, finally, I want to inform you that years back, several skills acquisition centers have been introduced in Nigeria. But unfortunately, Mr. President, most of them have been uncompleted. In the last regime, I went to my friend, Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Diary, and I said, look, we have these platforms all over the country, and they are uncompleted. Find a way to complete them so that Nigerians can find a way of acquiring knowledge to be useful to themselves. He agreed, but unfortunately, I think because of the exigencies of the time, he was unable to activate those skills acquisition centers. So in addition to supporting this establishment, I will urge the Senate to also know that there are such uncompleted skills acquisition centers spread across the country uncompleted, so that they can be completed, so that Nigerians, especially unemployed youths, can find avenue of acquiring additional skills. Mr. President, it will interest you to note that most university graduates today are learning trades in order to be gainfully self-employed. whether it is in the saloon, whether it is in the barbing, wherever. They try to find ways of earning livings other than acquiring government job. So, Mr. President, I support this bill to be read a second time, and I support that it be approved for implementation so that Nigerians can find other alternatives than government job to be able to live their productive lives. I thank you, Mr. President.
Please, we'll allow for two minutes so that we can go to the next. Well, you see, I want to organize more, but is there anybody against the bill? Okay, Eze, just say, then we move. We'll put the question.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the honor to add my voice to this very important bill. I'm particularly interested because I have a similar bill. So I'm an interested party, and thank you for the honor to lend my voice. I get excited when we talk about skill acquisition and vocational training because I'm an engineer and I practice it. I know that the people that drive this project are the people that belong in this category. So, this category of people are the driving forces of the economy. They occupy the productive section. So I urge every member of the Senate to support this bill for the second time. And to say, Mr. President, I think it's a high time we begin to put a stop in establishing further universities and concentrate more on this level of education, post-secondary education, that will train our youth on skill acquisition.
Thank you.
So that they can be
1 second
employable.
remaining.
Thank you. I support this bill wholeheartedly. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Those in favor that this bill be now read the second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Skill Acquisition and Technology, Agulu, Anambra State, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration, and for other related matters, 2024, SB 493, second reading.
A bill for an act to establish Federal College of Skills Acquisition and Technology, Agulu, Anambra State, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration, and for other related matters, 2024. Second reading taken. The bill is referred to the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Third Fund to report back within 4 weeks. Let me commend the sponsor of the bill and those who contributed in the debate for the second reading. As said by all here, it is an important agency to be established in order to take care of our zeal to have the necessary manpower to build our nation. It's really important because technicians are those involved in the actual work to get all the things we need in developing our nation put together. Engineers, of course, design. They do the design and supervise whatever is to be done. But the technicians are the real people involved in any meaningful work to develop an entity, a nation, or conglomerate, or a corporate institution, and so on and so forth. So it's really important. Once we get it right here, we'll be able to get our zeal to develop our nation properly actualized. So I thank you very much for bringing this bill, and we commend all those who contributed. The Leader of the Senate.
The President of Senate, the second order of the day is the second reading of the Satellite Towns Development Commission Bill 2024 SB 533. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in the chamber on Tuesday, 22 October 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Aliu Wadada Ahmed to move the motion for the bill to be read second time. Is he here?
Senator Wadada Ahmed Aliu, the floor is yielded to you to move the motion for you to read your bill second time.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I am Senator Ahmed Wadada Aliyu Sarkin Yakin Kefi, the famous horse rider. I stand to move the motion that a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal Capital Territory, FCT Satellite Towns Development Commission, Establishment Bill 2024 be read for the second time.
You may proceed.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this bill seeks for the establishment of Federal Capital Territory Satellite Towns Development Commission. This bill was first read on the floor of the Senate on Tuesday, 22nd October 2024. The aim of this bill is to establish the Federal Capital Territory FCT Satellite Town Development Commission. It is an initiative aimed at addressing the growth and infrastructure needs of the FCT satellite towns. The background of the bill: FCT is bounded by Nasarawa, Niger, Kaduna, and Kogi as contiguous states. Since its creation, the FCT has continued to be see tremendous growth as Nigeria's federal capital territory. This rapid development has, however, come with a set of challenges, particularly to the satellite towns, which are all forced to accommodate the workforce of the Federal Capital Territory. The creation of the Federal Capital Territory has also continued to have significant socio-cultural, economic, and political impact on the surrounding towns and communities. While Abuja has become a hub for governmental, political, and economic activities, the neighboring towns to the FCT have continued to experience various challenges as they are all de facto extensions of Abuja. They continue to suffer from inadequate infrastructure, limited public services due to overcrowding and ever-growing population influx. While Abuja flourishes as the nation's capital center, neighboring towns continue to face underdevelopment as their local economies struggle to compete with the wealth generated in Abuja, thereby creating a stark economic divide. The key provisions of this bill: the FCT Satellite Towns Development Commission Bill proposes the establishment of the FCT Satellite Towns Development Commission to cater for satellite towns that are to be determined by a 60-kilometer distance into all the contiguous states of the FCT from their FCT borders. Mandate: the FCT Satellite Towns Commission shall have the mandate to ameliorate the infrastructure deficit, manage urban sprawl, and promote sustainable development within the satellite towns. Governance structure: the bill outlines the governance structure of the commission, establishment of the different administrative units and needed location offices. Funding shall be on a first-line charge in line with applicable laws. And this first-line charge will be that Federal Capital Territory will contribute, federal government will contribute, the contiguous states to the FCT will as well contribute. Rationale for the bill. The FCT Satellite Towns Development Commission is set out for the underlisted reasons. Housing deficit. The rapid urbanization of the FCT, which resulted in an acute shortage of affordable housing, has continued to cause a mass movement of people to the satellite towns, thereby creating informal settlements and slums. This has led to overcrowding, lack of basic amenities, and poor living conditions, which further exacerbate poverty within some of the towns in the contiguous states. Brain drain. Many educated individuals in the satellite towns move to Abuja to access better jobs, job opportunities, and facilities, leaving behind a brain drain that hinders local development of the satellite towns. Limited access to services. The satellite towns always have shortage of quality educational and healthcare services. While Abuja boasts of high-quality services, the surrounding towns struggle with inadequate facilities, leading to a disparity in health and education outcomes. Cultural clashes. The migration of different ethnic groups into the satellite towns has continually led to cultural clashes of different groups with divergent values and lifestyles, and that sometimes lead to tensions, especially when chasing scarce resources or competing for land and employment. Rise in crime and social tensions. The widening economic gap between Abuja and its surrounding towns has led to social inequalities, as those who have migrated into satellite towns often face poor living conditions, informal settlements, resulting in high levels of crime, social unrest, and inequality. Cultural homogenization. As people from the different parts of Nigeria flock into satellite towns, the rich cultural diversity of the surrounding towns often gives way to a more homogenized national culture, causing the marginalization of local cultures. Rural-urban migration. Towns surrounding the FCT have seen a drain of young, working-aged individuals to Abuja, leading to a decline in agricultural production, traditional craftsmanship, and other rural-based industries in these neighboring communities. If this bill is passed, will ameliorate the infrastructure deficit, manage urban sprawl, promote sustainable development within the FCT satellite towns. The Commission's role will include the development of essential structure, such as roads, drainage system, healthcare services, education, social services, and public utilities as waste management. In conclusion, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the establishment of an FCT Satellite Towns Commission will be a conscious effort towards spreading development to all nooks and crannies of our nation, in view of the stated benefits and more. I urge you, all of you, my colleagues, to support this bill. And in supporting this bill, we will be doing justice to whom much is given, much is expected. These contiguous states have all had to make sacrifices for the FCT to be a reality. So it will only be fair for such a body to be established so that we give back to them. For instance, my emirate, Kefi Emirate, used to collect taxes up to Garki, this where we are seated. And so, for the sacrifices these states have done, the contiguous states, I beg of us that we pass this bill to justify and pay back for the sacrifices done by these contiguous states. Distinguished colleagues, thank you so very much for listening, and I hope you fly with me. I love you all.
Senator Mohammed Adam Alero, former Governor, Kebbi State, you have the floor. Sorry, I'm former FCT minister. It's an authority on this bill.
You are right, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I rise to second this very important bill to the extent that the Satellite Development Agency in FCT to be upgraded to a commission to accommodate all what has been said in the lead debate. In fact, Mr. President, the Satellite Development Agency has been established as far back as 1987. It's meant to develop all the satellite towns, provide infrastructure so that the city can be decongested. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the federal capital city is not supposed to accommodate more than 750,000 people when it was conceived. But due to population boom, due to influx of people into the federal capital territory, the city is now having more than 5 million people. And quite a number of these people are living outside the federal capital city. And the satellite towns have no infrastructure. Budgetary provisions are grossly inadequate. In fact, it is only the FCT budget that is funding the satellite towns. But the FCT budget doesn't include funding of satellite towns. So for this reason, Mr. President, I support this bill. When you talk of satellite towns, we're talking about Buari, we're talking about Abaji, we're talking about Kwali, we're talking about Karu. And these are the towns that are within the FCT. But what the lead debate is saying, extending the satellite towns to a perimeter of 60 kilometers. Mr. President, that will offend the provision of the Constitution because the Constitution has already stated what FCT is, including even the satellite towns. It doesn't include anything outside what the Constitution has said. So I support the second reading of this very important bill, and I urge all my colleagues to do the same. Thank you.
Please, it seems there are a lot of people that want to contribute to this debate. So please, I'll assign 2 minutes to each senator. I will start. The senator representing FCT wants to speak. But sorry, I have recognized the former leader. The former leader will speak, then you speak. So just 1 minute, you will speak after. Former leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I fully appreciate. I was leader, you are deputy. I was leader, you are only deputy.
My God, you are not lucky. I was trying to refer to you. But it's okay. You can't tell the leader sit down. He has started. No problem.
The President, this actually just like the Supreme Senator earlier would say, this is a constitutional matter. The FCT is FCT with very clearly defined boundaries. Those satellite towns of the FCT are those satellite towns that are within the constitutionally recognized boundaries of the Federal Capital Territory. To extend it outside would mean amending the Constitution and then making a recognition of those places like Mararaba, Kefi, and several other towns in Kaduna and other states, Kogi and other states. You know, that means we are overreaching the powers of that we have from the, because we are the legislature of the FCT, we are the legislature, you know, of the FCT.
Now, another difficulty that we have with this particular bill, is that, when you establish the North Central Development Commission, that North Central Development Commission is supposed to benefit those states like Kogi, Nasarawa, Niger, Plateau, some of whose towns are likely going to come within the purview of that FCT. So we have to be very, very clear about the boundaries that we are talking about.
In other words, you are saying the North Central Law Commission is taking care of this issue.
It's taking care of those other satellite towns that are there. And like Senator Aleru has said, there is a satellite town development agency of the FCT. Now, if you want to set up a commission, being the legislature of the FCT, that is the kind of agency that we can convert into the commission that will get its funding from the first line funding of the FCT itself. So we can amend we can make a law for that agency to be converted into a commission and then give them the power of collecting first line charge from the FCT account. But extending the boundaries of Abuja satellite township to include townships in other states, I think that one will be unconstitutional and an overreach by the commission. But I have really no objection against the principle behind the bill. But we have to be very careful about its constitutional implications. Thank you.
Senator Ireti Kingibe, Senator representing the FCT.
My name is Senator Ireti Kingibe, Senator representing the Federal Capital Territory. I rise to support this bill. FCT Abuja is the fastest growing city in Africa. Therefore, whether we like it or not, a lot of people live in Mararaba, all around. Even in the satellite towns of the FCT, there are no infrastructure. There isn't anything to accommodate the influx of people into Abuja on a daily basis. Let me give you an example. If the satellite development agency is upgraded to a commission, it would take care a lot of the low-income people who work in Abuja, live in Mararaba, Masaka, all the environs of FCT. There's not inadequate housing within the Federal Capital Territory to accommodate them. That's why you have all the slums that we have. There's no infrastructure. But if this commission exists, it will take care of the lower income people who do not have houses in Maitama and Asokoro and Wuse and Garki, who move out and out and out. And of course, technically, they are in other states, but they will tell you, we live in Abuja. They do not live in Abuja. New Karu is in Nasarawa. Mararaba is in Nasarawa. If you go to the other side, it has entered Kaduna or Kogi or even Niger State. So I wholeheartedly support, we will work out the modalities of the Constitution, but that commission is critical. FCT, we all live here. All the agencies are here. All the MDAs, all of them are here. So it does not make sense for us to ignore the realities of having so many people living in the capital. And the capital isn't just the few districts that have been developed. Kuje, Garki, all the Kuje, Abaji, all those places. And even outside of those places, they still need that development. So I rise to wholeheartedly ask my colleagues that this commission is really critical to the well-being of the Federal Capital Territory. So I ask you all to please support it. I so submit.
Sani Musa, you have 2 minutes to make your contribution. Thereafter, sorry, Minority Leader, we need to move here. When it comes here, then you're going to make your contribution. Senator Sani Musa, then Senator Patton Debese.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East. My distinguished colleagues, this bill is very important, and from the lead debates, the intent of this bill is to see how FCT can augment the sufferings of the satellite towns, including the border towns. And I believe that is the reason why in the lead debate, the presenter was talking about contributions from states. Looking at the sponsor, looking at the way the influx of people within the satellite towns, majority of the people works in the FCT. Due to this influx, a lot of infrastructural facilities were overstretched. They were overstretched and most of them made obsolete because over time they are no longer working. I can cite example with Suleja. I can cite example with Buhari, the new Buhari. I can cite example with Zuba. All those cities or satellite towns are in Niger State, but majority of the people that lives around there, they are working in FCT, and they pay their taxes in terms of pay to FCT, not even where they are residing. So as such, there is a lot of burden. And with the coming of such bill, I think it's necessary for us to look at how we can augment the haphazard structure that have been established. Why I said haphazard, you cannot let your people be in a particular place and you are not doing anything for that area. Nothing is allocated to those places. If you go, there are no roads, no schools, no clinics, and yet majority of these people that work in the FCT resides in those places. So it's not about doing roads for Buhari, Abaji, and the rest, and then Kukuje, and then forgetting about Suleja, forgetting about Zuba, Okaru. There is need for us to look at this bill and give this bill the needed attention so that we can correct the anomalies that is there. So I plead with my colleagues to support this bill so that it can go for the second reading. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I can understand that so many people want to speak to make their contributions in respect of this bill, but we are a bit constrained because you can see this document going around. The Committee on Finance, in conjunction with the leadership, decided to invite the chairman of FRRS and experts in tax laws to come down here to brief us about the tax bill. And that was scheduled to hold at this period. And the chairman is around waiting, as well as the experts who are going to brief us in respect of clause by clause, brief us on each of the clauses of the bill. It's a kind of interactive session, and whoever has any question about the bill, such person can ask, so that we can have more explanation from the chairman as well as the consultants who are going to be around with us. So it is this respect that I want to discontinue this debate. Sorry, we're going to I'll allow the leader to make just 1 minute. Minority leader, he wants to. I mean, you have the privilege. Make your contribution, and Senator Patrick, Patrick is very much concerned. Just you, I give you half a minute so that we can, okay, 1 minute, so that we can round and put the question. No, you speak. You speak.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the privilege and honor, irrespective of the time constraint, to allow me to speak on this debate. On this bill, Mr. President, I do not support that this bill should be read the second time for some reasons that is clear. Mr. President, we are already working on the North Central Development Bill. And this bill is like showing that these satellite cities does not belong to the North Central. And we can't be making laws that are contradictory or just doing academic exercise. We have North Central Development Commission, which we have debated in this chamber. Coming back to debate another development commission for an area that is already covered in the other bill, I don't think it makes sense. Also, since there is an agency in the FCT that is saddled with the responsibility to develop the satellite towns, I will support what the former FCT minister said. The sponsor of this bill can withdraw it, make the necessary amendment, and represent it. But coming here to pass a bill to establish FCT Development Commission, I don't think it's the right thing for us to do here. I thank you, Mr. President.
Busy. Just 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I pray you listen to me. My name is Senator Patrick C. Ndubeze from representing Imo North. I want to explain certain or bring to bear certain knowledge or understanding about this FCT so that we'll follow or pass a bill that will not make us to look or will not be contradictory. I've been here for a long time and I've been part of FCT. Please, Mr. President, we have FCDA, Federal Capital Development Authority. Mr. President, we have STDA, Satellite Town Development Agency. But however, because of management and funding, the agency was brought down to be a department, STDD. And when the same work they were doing as agency, that's what they are doing now as STDD, as a department in FCT. And in FCT, we have the Health Secretariat, Education Secretariat, Agri Secretariat, and all the rest of them. So we can no longer come up to create commission that will supersede all of them, because there will be issue of commissioners and all the rest of them. In SCDA, in the FCT, they have not gotten anything commissioned. Rather, we have mandate secretariats, education, health, and all the rest of them. And they are being taken care of by mandate secretaries. So what I am saying is his bill is good, but it has to be restructured to be called Satellite Town Development Agency, which we have had. They have no work to do with financing education. It's all majorly infrastructure. They have engineering department, planning, survey, and all the rest of them. I have the company I chair before coming to the Senate. They have
Thank you. Your time is off. Thank you very much, because there's no time. Hand up. Just 1 minute, 1 second remaining.
Okay. So what I'm saying is this, and we should go by that name, Satellite Town Development Agency, which they have had in the past, but was brought down to department. And when we go by this, the structure is already existing. And their work, I have said, will go by the department they have there. They have different departments there. There is nothing like commission in FCT. If we go by that, we'll be derailing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, we come to the end of this debate. As I said earlier, we have some guests waiting for us, and we need to receive them. This bill, everybody agrees that is something that is necessary, that intent is good, but probably how it's going to be configured is a problem. So that has been raised by the former Senate leader and some others that contributed to the debate. So I believe that we should give it that opportunity to move forward, and then at the committee stage, the way it's going to be configured will now be decided. We don't kill the baby with the bathwater. Since we understand that intendment is germane, is apt, so let's allow it to move forward, and then when it gets to the committee stage, then whatever decision that's going to be taken in terms of how it's going to be configured, that will be done at that stage. And of course, when the report is brought to the floor of the Senate, we'll look at how the committee is going to do the entire thing. And if it's okay with us, then we can pass it. But it's not in tandem with the Constitution, or it doesn't go well, it's not sensible, it's not okay, then of course we can get it aborted. So it's on this note that I put the question. Those in favor that the bill be read the second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Satellite Town Development Commission, and for other related matters, 2024 SB 533, second reading.
A bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal Capital Territory, FC Satellite Town Development Commission, and other related matters, 2024, second reading taken. Chief Whip, please ensure order on the floor. Chief Whip. Order, please.
Senator Denduse, take your seat. Senator DK Planks, take your seat. Senator Ndubi, take your seat. Senator Jarigbe, take your seat. Senator Yaradua, take your seat. Senator Denduse, take your seat. Senator Aminu Abbas, take your seat. Chairman Communications, take your seat. Senator Khalid, take your seat.
The bill is hereby referred to the Committee on the FCT to report back within 2 weeks. Let me commend Senator Wadada Aliu for bringing forward this bill. It shows the passion you have for the development of the FCT and indeed the surrounding states. But as I said earlier, the problem is about how the bill will be actualized. And this can be sorted out at the later processing of the bill. And I do hope that the committee will do the best work in packaging the bill so that by the time the report is brought to the Senate, the best manner possible in terms of the configuration will have been sorted out. And I hope that once your intention is actualized for FCT and the entire state surrounding the FCT, it will be good for all of us, to be good for the country. Thank you very much, Senator Wadada Aliu. The leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I am rising to move first for the suspension of Order 12.1 on floor privileges. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, This is to enable us allow some strangers into this hallowed chamber. And the essence of this, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, is that the leadership of this hallowed chamber took a decision, just as was done by the leadership of the House of Representatives, to bring in knowledgeable experts and stakeholders that will come and explain certain things to us regarding the tax reform bill, which essentially is why I have not brought these bills for second reading, because we felt there was the need for us to be able to also ask questions. Apart from listening to them, to be able to ask questions. So essentially, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the few strangers we are bringing will include, like I said, 2 tax experts and consultants from different parts of the country, as well as the DG of Budget Office and the chairman of FIRS. Again, the essence of this is for them to come and speak to the integrity of the tax reform bills and to also enable our colleagues ask questions, after which we'll be able to do our own closed-door session and hold our own further interaction before we proceed or before we take any further legislative action on those bills. I so move, Mr. President.
Okay, order. What order?
Order 12. And by your leave, let me read. Privilege of the floor. No person shall be admitted in the lobby or the floor of the Senate while in session, except the following, and only by the consent of the Senate. And it goes like this. Number 8, the President or Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and their private secretaries. Number B, former elected President and former elected Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Number C, former President and former Deputy President of the Senate. Number D, former senators and senators-elect. Number E, members of the House of Representatives. Number I, judges of the Supreme Court. Number G, former clerks and former sergeant-at-arms of the Senate. Number H, secretary to the government of the Federation while carrying out a message from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Number I, former Speaker and former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. Number J, ambassadors and ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Number K, governors of state and former elected governors. Number 8, members of the national legislatures of foreign countries only on official duties. Number N, officers and employees of the Senate in the discharge of their official duties. Number 2, the chamber shall not be granted for any other purpose than the use of the Senate. Mr. Speaker, I read through some of these things, and I listened to the leader most appropriately. I don't see anywhere whereby the senators should allow these people to come here
and make the kind of interactions they so want. However, committees of the Senate and Appropriation can invite for the interaction of this manner, no, but not the Senate in session. I think our rule does not cover invitation to consultants or any official of government to come and brief the sentence. I so submit.
Thank you very much for raising your objection to this. But let me say, this issue of the tax bill is something that Nigerians are interested to know much about it. I'm coming. Now, I'll call you. The House of Rep did almost the same thing. So we felt, excuse me, I'm coming. We feel that it's important so that we cover this matter live. We'll go clause by clause, bring the consultant. Let us look at the entire thing. And then we will see everything. And also Nigerians will also have the privilege of knowing everything about the bill. And thereafter, of course, we'll now decide what we need to do. We just want to make the entire process very, very much inclusive, carry everybody along, all Nigerians along. So I think probably he came under the wrong rule. He's going to rephrase his request, and then it's up to the Senate if you want that to be done, and if you don't want to be done, fine. But what the leader wants to do, and of course the committee, is to open the entire thing, let it be known by all, let Nigerians know about the bill, let us know about the bill, let consultants tell us what is there, let the crafters of the bill, that is FRS, tell us about the bill. We want to make it as open as possible. We want to carry along everybody, all Nigerians. So this is what we want to do. Except you don't want openness, the intention is to open up to allow everyone to know. You may rephrase your
Mr. President.
Excuse me. Your point of order is noted, but I want to rephrase so that we can have it done formally without any problem. Leader, you have the floor.
Mr. President, I listened to the point of order raised by most distinguished, highly respected, well-revered former leader of the House and of the Senate, distinguished Senator Abdul Ningi. Mr. President, let me clarify. My motion was for suspension, not invocation, of Order 12. Order 12 talks about those who are privileged to speak in this hallowed chamber, as well as the exceptions that can be granted. But when a motion is moved for suspension, it means that rule does not apply again. In addition, sir, for the purpose of our working relationship, let me also amend my motion by saying that in addition to my motion for suspension of Order 12 on floor privileges, I'm also coming under Order 1B, which says in all cases where there is no specific provision or rule, the Senate shall regulate its own procedure. So, Mr. President, let it be said that my motion is based on both the invocation of Order 1B of our rules as well as the suspension of Order 12 of our rules. Nigerians need to know, and we also want to know. Let's hear these people. Let's ask them questions. And that's why I've chosen that we go this way before I bring my bill for second reading. After this, we'll still have our own closed-door session tomorrow as colleagues to further discuss this issue. It's a matter of urgent public importance. I so move, Mr. President.
Manuel Leader, can you second the motion, please?
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion ably moved by the Senate Leader. I so second.
Those in favor that we should allow for openness We should allow the Nigerians to know what is happening about the bill. We should also educate ourselves about the bill. And in that respect, the motion has been moved by the leader and seconded by my majority leader. Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Order, what order?
Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, Order 38. And I just take the last part of Order 38. That is order of the business. Mr. President, the order of the business says, number 10, that our business for the day will be based on the order paper. The order paper does not contain this. And for God's sake, this is a very, very, very important matter. We should not in any way try to use the position of the Senate because the order paper is clear and we have been doing this. I have no problem having them to come here and explain whatever. We have been doing that, but we follow known procedures. And that is if today this thing has to be taken, you now quickly ask for supplementary order paper that will reflect this. And as you said, this is a very, very important matter. It is not a matter that you just come and tell us after we are doing business of the day. Mr. President, you can have your way, but I will have my say. You will have your way, but I can have my say. You can use the gavel, and I will use my voice. This thing is very sensitive. Our people have been dominated by this matter. When you say it's matter of urgent national importance, yes, we do have matters of urgent national importance. But even those matters normally is referred to the next legislative date or another legislative date. Please, I beg you in the name of God, this matter is very, very important to not only us, but Nigerians that we represent. And we swear by Bible and Holy Quran that will represent the interests of the people. These people partially have spoken. The governors, the National Economic Council, and that makes
you have made your point. Can I respond to you?
You can rule me out of order.
Let me respond. Let me respond to you. Now, please, we are not here for rhetorics. We are acting on fact. Excuse me. Order, please. Order, please. Order, please. Order, please. Order.
You, because you are sitting there saying saying it's written.
I know.
Are you saying, Mr. President, that a Senate?
No, leave me. Wait a minute.
Is that fair to yourself? Now rule me out of order.
Okay, thank you very much. We're giving you a chance to speak. Please, I refer you to order 1B, which the leader came under. Can you read order 1B for me, please? Can you read order 1B? Okay. Order 1B read as follows. In all cases not provided for in this standing order, or by sessional or other orders or practice of the Senate shall by resolution regulate its procedure. This is what we have just done. This is the resolution that we have just passed. You needed to have known what we have done. I therefore rule you out of order. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, we have...
Besides, excuse me.
Yes.
This distinguished senator Ndime has been the one clamoring for openness in this arrangement. We want to be open. We want Nigerians to know, we want everybody to know what's wrong here. We are trying to make everything open, live. Let everybody listen. The chairman FR is here. And why are you saying you don't want that to be done? This is wrong.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I want to present the team of stakeholders and tax law experts that we have invited to come and shed light on the tax reform bills. And Mr. President, let me say that regardless of what is on our order paper, the order paper does not take precedence over our rules. And that is the essence of Order 1B that you have ruled on, that at any point, the Senate shall regulate its own procedure. And I will, at this point, Mr. President, ask that you recognize Chief Whip.
Mohammed Ali Ndume, resume your seat. Distinguished Senator Asuko, resume your seat.
Mr. President, I will leave the order of proceedings at your discretion. But let me say that we have the experts here led by the executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. I believe we also have the DG of the Budget Office here, along with other very eminent experts that we will listen to. And at the end of their presentation, Mr. President, I also pray that you allow any of our distinguished colleagues who may have questions to ask those questions. This is not second reading of our bill. I've not brought it for second reading. It is just for them to come and shed light on this. I thank you.
Chairman FRS, DG Budget Office, and other experts that have been invited to appear before the Senate. What we want to do today is for you to explain to us, and indeed the entire Nigerians, what this bill entails. And then we'll, of course, go to look at the bill clause by clause. What you want to do is just to be well informed. And this proceeding is being viewed live by all Nigerians, by most Nigerians, those who want to watch. So it's an avenue for all of us, and indeed Nigerians, to know what this bill entails. So please be open and try to be simple in your explanation. Don't go technical, so that Nigerians will understand the content of the bill. It's in line with our resolve to be so open, to bring openness in the entire process. This is why we have set aside the rules of the Senate to allow you to explain to Nigerians. Order, please. Order, please. We are not going to pass the bill now. No, it's merely for information, for us to be educated. I think it's an avenue, particularly the opposition, to understand. They should be happy about this process. They should be happy about this process. I don't know why they are not happy. So please, you can take the floor. You can mount the podium.
Senator Mustafa Habib, resume your seat. Senator Lindime, resume your seat.
Point of order.
What order? Wait. What order?
Order 52.
Order 52.
And Mr. President, my name is Senator Alindume. I represent Borno South. I'm not here as Senator Ndume. I'm as Ndume. I'm Senator. And the rules of debate, 52:7, says it shall be out of order to use offensive and insulting language. You called what I just mentioned and the point of order that I raised. You sitting there to say it's rhetorics. I think it's very unfortunate and you should apologize.
Well, I don't think the word rhetoric is a negative word. It's not an offense. Nobody used that against you. In the context it was used, it wasn't used against you. It was a general statement. I therefore rule out of order. Continue.
Senator Wadada, Senator Pasui, Senator Sani Musa, take your seats.